Coming to you from Molcajete. It's fucking epic, dude. You can see 3.0 in the back. There you go. All right. So click on the link and see if you can see us. Can you turn up the volume to see if we're on it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's the angle.
Yeah.
Should I lower it more? All right, guys. We're gonna close the thing. There. You think it's a good angle? Let's play.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Let's fucking do this, man. So here we go, guys. For the first time, we're coming to you live, Molcajete Chronicles, straight from Molcajete 2.0. And today we have a special guest who I guess loved the race so much that he hasn't left yet. 2 days later, we have Mr. Ryan Smith,
Right.
racing it. Why I keep calling you Ryan?
I could be Ryan.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, man. We literally just got up here, so I think we still have a low oxygen.
Yeah.
So,
That was a fun climb.
oh yeah, man. Like every time I climb, it never gets easier.
Look at that. We're doing this under the moonlight, too.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
We got Ultra Sapporo.
This is another day in paradise. Ooh.
Which one?
Sapporo.
Sapporo.
Yeah.
So Sapporo, we need to sponsor us. So after one hard climb, one cold brew.
Although Ultra does seem more appropriate, huh?
Right. All right, guys. So one thing I noticed is that our lady here it was on the floor. So if you see her next time on the floor, pick her up. So we're just gonna get right into it, man, because I think it's gonna get dark pretty soon. Um, First time I don't know when, but we started following each other on social media. I believe a friend of yours introduced you to us.
Yeah.
And then after that, we started following each other on social media. Started seeing well, I noticed right away that you were doing some Spartan races and whatnot, and that led you to sign up for our 100K. And so, but I want to get a little background more, like you know, who you are, where you grew up, and just go a little into it. With like, well, what was your upbringing, or what was your early life like?
Yeah. Yeah. I just grew up in Idaho, and Idaho boy. That's probably where they'll be putting me in the ground. Grew up on the potatoes, and but been in Utah for the last 30 years. So, and just as a kid, always riding my bike everywhere. Everywhere. I rode
Right.
that everywhere. Is like so. I always liked going kind of the distance on the bike, right from town to town, and always outside. Always out. Love the outside. So, just all summer long, I was outside. Didn't want to come in until the sun went down, and even then, I was out. So
So you always, from early on, you always loved the outdoors, basically,
I did.
as most kids should, I guess.
Yeah,
That
as
was
a kid, definitely.
yeah. Growing up, same thing, man. I share with you. Growing up in Mexico, that's what we did. Outside was our playground. So with that, I mean, did you play any sports growing up, like high school?
Yeah, I did wrestling. Wasn't any good. I think I only won one match, but loved it. That was a tough sport.
Oh yeah,
Tough sport.
it builds toughness for sure.
Yeah, I tried out for the baseball team, got cut, and tried out for the golf team, got a free round of golf out of it. That was about the end of my golfing career. And I did win t-ball championship when I was like
T-ball.
t-ball. Like we we lost every game of the year except the last game of the season, and then didn't lose after that. So yeah, t-ball. That was my only championship, I guess.
So you did play a little bit of sports. Now, when we're thinking of transformation, and that's another thing that I did notice with you, that you had lost a lot of weight. So, but growing up, were you heavy since you were a kid, or there was a time when in your life where you just got bigger?
Yeah, just kind of going into adulthood. That's when I started, gaining weight, and I think I was pretty fit, growing up and kind of through high school. But just kind of as after high school and start working full time, and just life happens, and just slowly get out of shape, I guess. So,
Around what age would you say you got you reached your heaviest? I guess.
oh gosh, in my 20s, late. I remember late 20s, early 30s. I was at my heaviest, probably early 30s. Um, when I really got up there, I think I was over 300 pounds at that point, and so I was kind of, just kind of went back and forth, and I lost some weight a couple of times, but I always kind of gain it back,
Get
and
it back, like it
yeah,
happens to
just
a lot of
like
people.
really quick, but just, I mean, that was just based on like almost starvation diet alone and not really do anything else about it. So
Was there anything specific that you will say besides, a lot of times little it's a little misguided as far as like people think if you're heavy it's because you just eat a lot. I know that sometimes genetics, sometimes things play with it, but with and sometimes if you drink a lot, then yeah, you get. When I got on my saves like 240, I was drinking quite a bit. So there's a lot of. There was anything particular with you, food or
no, food was just kind of the comfort,
comfort?
comfort tool. I mean, that's what it was. I mean, that was uh, yeah, that's what I did to kind of deal with depression or deal
Mhm.
with the struggles of life and just those daily habits just were not good. So they were just kept stacking up.
Right, right. And so now we're talking about being at your heaviest, like in your 20s, right? And now, how old are you now?
Let's see, 49. Yeah,
49. So
be 50 this year.
so let's call it like 20 years at least of when you reach your heaviest to when you decided or started changing things, right? But what happened at 48? Because we're talking about. So one thing I learned from him already is that his journey in I guess we will say now ultra running or just running is only 9 months old. You indicated that 9 months ago you signed up and did a Spartan 5K, so a Spartan sprint.
Yeah,
But what happened that it took 20 years or something for you to like be where you are now?
yeah. I life just kind of got tough. I couldn't quite get life figured out anymore. My kids were starting to grow up and move out of the house, and I realized that I just didn't have. I don't know. I was starting to lose the will. I was slowly dying every day, and I knew it. And just things kind of just was getting out of control. And I think probably just the thought of kind of being, you know, when my kids are all at home, they were the life, and
Hmm.
it was just so it's just kind of dealing with life as it kind of ages and stuff like that. And I just got to the point where I was just I could feel myself slowly dying every day, and I knew it. And things just got to a point where I knew I had to make a change. I didn't know what that change was, though. I didn't know what it was, and struggled. Sold our house, we moved, just trying to get life figured out, and ended up moving into an apartment building and trying to just simplify life a little bit,
Right.
and that's why I ran into a guy that invited me to a 5K. It was actually the apartment building.
And that's for the Spartan.
That was for Spartan, yeah. And I remember he says, "Hey, I'm doing a race next month. You should come out to it." And I remember telling him I'm not a runner, and and so I initially told him no. And then after a couple of days, I started thinking about it. Go, wait a minute. Uh, I think there's an opportunity here. Why am I passing up this opportunity? I've been struggling, been looking for something different. Why am I saying no to this? And so I kind of went back to him. I didn't even know the guy's name yet. I just by the hot tub and said, "Yeah, I'm in. I'll sign up." So
And how was that experience, your first race? Because I
uh,
imagine like you were not in the. I mean, you met him at a gym, but I imagine you were not where you are now.
no, yeah. Matter of fact, didn't met him at the gym. It was just the hot tub at the apartment
Oh,
building. So
oh, the hot tub.
yeah,
Thought it was a gym.
no, and that experience kicked my ass. I mean, I came in dead last out of 2,000 people, almost 2,000 people, and it took me like over 4 hours. But I reconnected with something up on that mountain. I remembered that I was an Olympic volunteer back in 2002, and I was stationed on that mountain.
Hmm.
And so I kind of reconnected with that energy, and I thought, geez, this is kind of interesting. Back here, like 20, 25 years later, but this time it's my name on my jersey, doing something meaningful for myself. I connected with that, and I think somewhere out there on that mountain, even doing that 5K, just something broke in me in a really good way, unlocked something, and still to this day, still trying to figure out what that
Mhm.
was, but it definitely unlocked something. So
I think sometimes is. I mean, I think we all have a destiny, and sometimes it's just the time, and some stuff needs to happen in life that it leads you to that point, and when you're ready to do that.
yeah,
And what I mean by ready, that's to me like you're physically ready, is mentally a thing. When you're ready, like they say, you're tired of being tired. Like you're tired of just being where you at that point. Um, so it's so crazy that like to me that like where you at now in 9 months, that's pretty fast. But I I can only imagine that comes from like grinding and staying and staying the course and your nutrition, your training to be able to do something like that. Again, in 9 months to go from a Spartan sprint, and as we talked, done a ton of Spartan races. So I know the difference between doing a sprint, doing something what you just did this weekend,
Yeah.
and then we'll get to kind of like a little. What was your experience for that? But what was your first ultra from that? I mean, I know you went on to do a bunch of Spartans, but on the ultra running, which one was your first like 50K?
First 50K was in, let's see, mm, Moab.
Okay.
It was Moab. It was an event put on by Mad Moose. I can't remember the name of it, but that was my first 50K that that I attempted. And I stayed out there for a while. I think I made it like 22 miles, and ended up DNF, but I went as far as I could that day. Um, but I should take that back. I actually did a well, I did the 100 miler. I guess we can get into that, but I walked that whole thing. That was probably my first real test past like a half marathon, but um, and that was all on flat land, and it was like a loop course. And but by then I was pretty motivated. I was kind of locked in. I didn't really have the physical strength yet. Like
Mhm.
I'm not the fastest. I'm not the strongest. But I just started doing daily movement. The daily movement is what is was the building blocks to all this.
So you say as for like people watching at home because it can be very relatable, meaning that we got to start somewhere, right?
Oh
Start
man,
with a sprint, and then so you would say that one of your advice will be just daily movement, like do
I
something every day.
I would say even start with walking to the end of the street and back. That's where I started.
Okay.
And then the next day I went down, went a little further. And then the next day just went a little further than that. And my superpower was I started this was just walking. I just gotten kind of started this forming this daily habit of walking, and I couldn't run yet. I was too heavy to run. Just didn't have that, but I knew I could walk, and so I thought I'm gonna start walking. And
And that one thing, you said a few things. You said like, "Oh, I'm not a runner." I think everyone that does this shit, man, unless you're like pretty elite or you actually run track or anything like that, we all kind of say we're not a runner because one thing with ultra running is not really. If you notice the difference, yes, there's people that are in it for the competitive part, podium and whatnot, but 90%, 95% of the all of us doing this thing, we're just basically running for ourselves and trying to finish the goal that we signed up for, right?
yeah,
And that means by all means necessary. While you're walking, we're just taking a nap on the freaking dirt, taking dirt naps, or whatever needs to happen to get to it. But there's a ton of walking. That's what I tell people. But I also feel like, I mean, we all kind of have used excuses for different reasons, and we say, well, I was not an athlete, or I was not a runner. But like, if you want to do something, shit, like you just gotta do it. Just show up and do it, and obviously train for it. And that's where I think uh, the 100 mile, which 100 mile was that?
that was down in Peoria, Arizona. That was across the years
Okay, for New Year's
for New Year's.
or
Yeah,
bypass.
and I signed up for the 100 milers, so they give me 72 hours
Okay,
to uh, to
which
do
is
that,
which is a long time,
which is a long time.
especially for a flat
And
course and a mile loop. Yeah,
yeah,
that's really.
it ended up being 71 laps around the same. So it's like, oh, there goes that crack in the cement again. You just listen to that over and over. But I remember I was out there. I started strong. My kind of my fastest pace on walking is only about 3 miles an hour,
Hmm.
and but I just like I can just keep walking. By then I'd already kind of built up a base of walking. That was my superpower. Was walking. It
Just
was
keep
not
walking.
running. Just
As long as you keep walking,
yeah,
as long as you keep
and
moving.
so I was out there on the course, and I remember my first milestone when I crossed like 26.2 miles.
Hmm.
I thought, holy shit, I just did a marathon. I mean, I walked it, but I just did marathon distance, and I was
Yeah,
still on my feet, right?
yeah, yeah.
And so then after that, it just felt like every step was just like I'm in new territory. I've never been here before. So every single step at that point was a new PR.
But you
Every step.
but you didn't have a 50 miler before that,
No,
100K before that.
No,
You just went big right away.
I had a Spartan Beast that I'd finished.
Yeah, which is yeah,
Um,
is
but yeah, half marathon was my longest before that.
well, yeah, what you can't compare is the amount of time, the time on your feet, regardless of how hard a beast could be and how long as you could be out there for 8 hours, 10, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the same, you know. But so, how do you go from doing that 100 miler, which again, if we talked about the profile, is 100 miles, but it's like what we said, it was a 1.5 mile course,
Yeah,
flat.
1.4 mile flat. It had flushing toilets, hot showers,
Okay, yeah.
constant food. Uh, plenty of course support, right? And
So, so what makes you decide to go from that to, even though ours is 100K, but I tell people our 100K is harder than many actual 100 milers. So when you look at the elevation gain and what you read about it and you heard about it, about the terrain, technical, like what was your thought process of like, let me sign up for this?
you know, I I just fell in love with the community, how supportive
Right,
the ultra community is, and I thought, I don't know if I can do that distance, but I'm gonna go try.
right, right.
And but I knew I was walking into something very difficult and incredible support at the same time.
Got it. And I remember I was driving back from Fresno. We got on the phone. You had some questions or whatnot,
Yeah.
and we got on the phone, and it's weird. Well, not weird, but I think it's destiny. It's how, somehow, some way, and we'll get into why is he still even here. He came from Utah, right? But what I'm gonna do next, um, tell us a little bit about your prep. What were you doing before that 100K? Well, put some freaking lights because we're gonna get dark in here. And
Yeah.
so go ahead and keep talking to the camera
Yeah, we
and
got the
tell us.
moonlight keep us company too.
Yeah,
Looks
yeah,
like the sun's fading in the background, but
yeah, yeah.
my prep obviously was, I started wanting to build for the longer distances. I did that 100 miler. It took me 65 hours and like 7 minutes. Um, but I just been doing a lot of training on my feet, a lot of walking. It got kind of the calluses built up on my feet. Um, started figuring out what shoes I wanted to wear. I wear hookahs and I just wear the same pair now. I just keep buying the same pair. Just learn where the hot spots were on my feet, and I knew I couldn't run yet, and I knew I'd find my run, but um, but the walking really is superpower. I mean, seriously, I would go out for 2, 3, 4, sometimes 7 or 8 hours just going for a walk. Um, Even heading into winter, throw the coat on, throw the gloves on, and I would just head out and throw the headphones on. And um, every time I went, I knew I was building towards something. So that's how I established my base for all this, was seriously walking. And then I started signing up for a bunch of local half marathons. I remember my first half marathon I did. I went down. It was all downhill. It was like 13.2 miles, and I got across the finish line in like, I think, just a little under 4 hours. And as soon as I crossed, I kind of crouched down, locked my knees, and I passed out backwards. And that was my first half marathon experience.
So a lot of base running, basically.
Yeah.
A lot, and that's what you really need to do, and then you could build some speed or whatnot. So now that you got here to the race, I know you arrived Thursday. He was literally I think the other flashlight fell off. Hold on. Oh, yeah, it did. It looks pretty good actually with the flashlights,
Yeah.
but let's see how long it lasts. And yeah, it's definitely unique. We're on top of Molcajete 2.0. It's fucking getting cold, man. And we brought our dinner, fucking Oreo cookies. But we actually had a really nice dinner at home with my mother. So I think we're good on food. But so you were the first one that arrived on Thursday.
Yeah.
So I felt like you definitely getting the whole experience because you got early. You saw when we were setting up. You kind of saw like all the stuff that was going on. You did the race, but you also hung out, helped us. You actually helped us deliver the ATV, pack some of the stuff. So you got a little experience of like the whole process of setting up a race, and even you know you're staying at the house with me. So he also got to see like us putting away the damn trailers and doing all that crazy stuff. And
Yeah.
and to this day, we're still putting stuff away today. But that's a little what he had experienced the whole thing. So let's move forward and let's just get to the nitty gritty, man. Let's get to the race because I'm interested.
Oh
I'm
man.
interested to hear like, what was your experience. So let's go with the start. You're at the starting lineup, national anthem.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts at that moment? Like, what are you thinking? Any doubts, or or you're looking around and you're like, okay. Well, not only that, but the day the day before, let me go back. The day before, you came with me and Ignacio to put up some signs. So he did Molcajete 1.0 the
Yes.
day before. So okay, so
Yeah, a little course preview
a
there,
little
huh?
course, yeah, definitely got some behind the scenes. So all right, you're at the national anthem goes on 5 minutes before the race. What's your thought
There
process?
there's always this moment before every race,
Hmm.
in every race, including this one. It's like, what the hell have I got myself into? Why? There's kind of that gut check, right? You're
Right,
like,
right, right.
I've overdone it now. I realize I'm outmatched, right? Um, but no, I just I do get excited though. It's like countdown 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and I I was just I enjoy being at the front of the pack when I lead, and I'm not that fast, but just kind of just have that experience with with Spartan, at the start line, and kind of working through that. I do some stretches and stuff, kind of get ready for it, but I just know at that point, any prep work that I haven't done, it's too late now. So it's like you're locked in at that point. There is no turning back. So, um, no, I just embrace the moment and go for it.
And be present. And what was you claimed Molcajete 1.1, which you already done the day
Yeah.
before, so that wasn't unfamiliar to you. You were kind of like, okay, well, I was here yesterday, so then you had that pretty 3-4 mile stretch to the A station on Molcajete 2.0, where we at right now. So what was your first thoughts as you entered and you started climbing and you started seeing what it looked like and what it felt like? What was your thoughts?
Yeah, I at this point I knew that I had some pretty good uphill strength.
Hmm.
I knew I could just keep marching and climbing, just keep marching. I was worried about the downhill. I mean, that was like I don't that was kind of untested. I'd never done any downhill like this before. I'd done some climbing stairmaster, been working the stairmaster in the gym quite a bit, but um yeah, I just got in kind of a power march rhythm. I tried not to look at the top of the mountain too much because I didn't want to know how far I still had to go,
Yeah,
and it was almost easier for me if I just kept going, because what I really like about the steep climbs is it doesn't take that long for you to look back and go, holy cow,
already up here.
covered some distance. Yeah, already here. The steeper it is, the faster you're climbing. So it's like just stay with the grind for 5 or 10 minutes and then look back, and you realize just how far you come, and I just kept using that as a motivator. And so I keep looking back, not to the top. And I knew eventually I'd get to the top.
One thing with the course, if you look out in back of us in the horizon, which is fucking it, like it looks beautiful, man. Like it's just, um, when you look at it from here, you can see every peak where you need to go.
Yeah.
So at that point, at that point
Yeah.
when you look at it, and now you start hitting this downhill, and there's some really sketchy parts where it's just like, geez, was it less, more? Was it pretty much as advertised? Was it pretty much what you thought it was gonna be, or did it feel worse, or what was it like the downhill? I know the downhill, most people don't, at first don't talk about it, but it truly is what the most challenging part, I guess.
Yeah, it is definitely the most challenging. I mean, definitely heard that, there's massive elevation gain,
Mm,
but with elevation gain, you got massive elevation loss,
the same.
which was, I think, even harder for me.
Right,
It
right.
was easier for me to go up than down, and
Did
yeah,
you
that's
fall? Did you fall on the first time on the
oh
first loop?
I ate shit like 20 times. Seriously, I mean, I got scrapes all over me, and
I think anyone that didn't, whether it was 50K or the 100K, they'll fail. Even us, we came out here. One of the photographers, she fell like 2 times too.
yeah,
I mean, I fall too when I run here. I mean, but I pretty much know how to brace already. But yeah, it's just a lot of loose dirt, and the degree of downhill is pretty tough. So you get to the bottom. It doesn't take that long when you get the next turn that it tells you to go to 3.0,
yeah.
and you start hitting 3.0. How did that climb feel?
Yeah, 3.0 climb, I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed the climb. A lot more technical. Even there was even a spot where I mean, it almost felt like you're doing some rock climbing. I had my poles with me. I had to throw my poles ahead. I was like, oh shoot, I guess it's time to play in the sandbox again. Being a little kid, climbing up over the rocks and stuff. And
Yeah, the infamous rock that you have to climb. And it doesn't seem like so when I've been out there, especially when I'm just doing it once and I'm working out here on the trails, and coming from like Spartan, I was always really good with my upper body, but it's a different story too after you're doing it a few times, and we'll get to the last lap, how like what you experienced with the rain. So, but so you get to the you climbing and you get to the downhill, because that one's a super short, but it's like yeah, it's just different. How was that for you on the first time going down the 3.0 downhill?
Yeah, I thought this is madness. This is just crazy. I mean,
Yeah,
it yeah, it felt like a, it's like a goat trail would have been like, felt like a paved road at the time. It was just like, this is the only way to go down is like to slide on your ass, you know? It's like, I don't know what the hell, you know? So I kept using my poles to help holding me back. I thought, okay, that's my safety chain there. If I get sliding too fast, I'll just dig the poles into the ground. But
that area is very you could fall really easy because there's a lot of boulders, there's a lot of rocks that are good sized rocks, like like
yeah,
pretty big, and they also have dirt on it from like people pushing dirt into it. So when you mix rock and dirt, they actually don't mix. So
yeah,
yeah, I always tell people you just gotta play safe, take your time there.
I
You
definitely
you
took my
you you,
time.
you can make up time on the downhills.
Yeah,
So from there, you get to the bottom. Now you have the kind of like the horse trail leading up to Bernasconi,
yeah.
and you basically had a half marathon. When you get to Bernasconi, how much time did you spend there? Was it a kind of good thing to get to the right station, or how were you feeling at that
No,
point?
no, I look forward to getting to the aid stations, but I
Mm.
don't spend much time
You're
there.
just kind of in
I
and
get
out.
in and out. I get what I need and
That's
go.
good.
Yeah, I just, you know, if I can, 30 seconds, I grab what I need, stuff my pockets, and even though I look forward to getting to them, it's even better to leave them. You
Yeah,
know,
if you
so
re-
get what you
if
need
you
and get out.
recall that there's a sign that I put in right there that basically says, "Grab what." That's exactly what I said on the sign. Grab what you need. Get out of here. We
Yeah,
love you, but get out of here.
yeah,
Basically, like don't get comfortable. This is like DNF trap. Yeah,
yeah.
this one thing is that the weather shifts so much from like the course preview we had, where it was freaking like 90 and it was super hot. It dried up everything, all the green and all the flowers, which never happens in March. It basically dried them up, and that's how we ended up with the fire that took out pretty much all the vegetation from 1.0. So the weather did get cool. Like right now, it's freaking cold. I'm freezing. And at that point, I think I did started seeing faster times right away from other times because there's a big difference between that and running with in the heat. So I definitely thought like that the weather was perfect for running. So then you have the long stretch when you leave Bernasconi, you actually jump into the bike path that
Yeah.
takes you around the lake through the dam. How long did that feel for you before you got to the museum before Terry Peak? Did
Uh,
that did
it,
that feel long?
it did
Like
feel
like
long
when that
there.
shit is all like gonna be
Yeah.
end?
Yeah, I mean, 'cause that's a long walk
Uh,
across that dam. That dam is super long, and it's like, geez, this thing's never gonna end, you know. And the whole time you're looking at like, oh, I got to climb that. You know, it's right in front of you, you know. So you're like, well, don't get there too fast, because then you just got to climb that too. But
Compared to all the other ones, what did you think about Terry Peak? I know that I put a sign. I did make a bunch of new signs for this one, and I put like this hill has trust issues because it sort of has like a bunch of little false summits. Like it kind of feels like you already got to the top, and then you
yeah,
look and it's flat, and then it's like, oh, fuck, there's another hill over there. Like, how was that for you? That particular climb?
yeah, that climb I think was, I consider that my easiest climb,
Okay.
even though it had kind of those like, oh, I think I'm at the top, that I'm not. Very pretty hike. I mean, it's not a bad view on that hike because you constantly just got the lake right there you're looking at, you know, the dam, and again, you're climbing, you can see that progress pretty quick when you're
Nice,
going up
nice, nice.
that. So
So you finished your first lap. Um, what did you do in transition? Did you eat? Did you?
yeah,
What was your plan at the transition?
yeah, transition. I left my some of my supplies in the truck, so I had to run over the truck and get those. But my plan was just not to spend much time there. I got in, grabbed what I need, got some fresh supplies on me, stuffed my pockets with whatever, and just got out and got back out on the trail. I didn't want to spend much time there.
Anybody that you kind of met at the trails? Anyone that you had any conversation? Or anyone that you had an interaction with during the race?
Yeah, there's always people I meet out on the trail, and
Mhm.
um, but the thing is unless you can match pace with somebody, you know, I always just found it easier to go at my own pace, and so. But yeah, you definitely meet people,
Mhm.
that friends you just hadn't met yet. and get a chance to sometimes hear their story, get a chance to share your own story briefly, and kind of get to know some of the participants more. And I think the more miles I got behind me, and the more I kind of uh, just see other people. You kind of just get kind of more familiar. Everyone's out here together, kind of suffering, and so it's like just kind of a big family out here.
That's what's cool about the loop thing, because even anyone that is fast or slow, whatever, at one point in time, you will cross paths. You
Yeah.
know, I did see a comment. There was a gentleman that said something about like he shook your hand or whatnot. Who was that?
Yeah,
Who was that?
yeah. I just out on the course. God, what was that? Just like right after Summit 3, somewhere around there, right before Summit 3, and I don't know, it just kind of happened so quick. But I mean, I do remember shaking his hand and stuff, and met briefly, and uh,
What was he telling you? What did he tell you?
I tell you the truth, I can't even remember. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember the experience, but I couldn't tell you exactly what was said.
He probably had seen something about your story, right?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so. I think I definitely shared my story when I could, and that's the thing is you never know what kind of impact you can have out on the trail. Either if somebody says something kind to you, or you say something to
Yeah.
them, because you just don't know what they're going through. They don't know what you're going through, and never underestimate even just a brief kind word like "Hey, hang in there," or "Hey, thanks, brother. I appreciate that." I mean, it means a lot, and I've definitely had a lot of those moments on the trail where you just don't know what kind of impact you can make. You're sharing your story, they're sharing theirs, and sometimes it just means a lot more than what you know.
Right, right. One thing that at this point, from going back to like what 2000, like for me 2014 or so, doing races, I had one experience early on that a friend of mine, Mark Montano, who call him Iron Man, he's actually the MC for Spartan races, and so I'm sure you heard his voice, or he does, he does the DJ stuff. At that time we were in Temecula, and I think I was dealing with some injuries, and I just had a really crappy race at the Beast. And at that point, there was a lot of people that already knew about me and my own journey or whatnot. And I remember like I was kind of like pretty short and pretty bad moody. And one thing he told me, he kind of put me to the side. And he always talked to me, he respects me, and talks to me like, he always calls me like, "Hey, Jefe," and then he just tells me basically, "Hey, man, you need to snap out of it because there's a lot of people that look up to you, and just because you had a bad race, you can't be having that kind of attitude." And dude, this is 2015 maybe. That day after that, man, every fucking race that I ever done, dude, I always see people that know me or whatnot. I'm always like out there being loud, man. Not crazy, but I'm always like, I see anyone and I see them like super quiet, whatever. I'm like, "Hey, man, what's going on? What you need?" And they're like, "Oh, that's all right, man." And I'm like, "Let's fucking go, man. Let's do this. We're all in pain. Let's move." But I always force myself to, I think it helps me not even focus on my own struggles, my own pains. I'm always like try to keep a smile. So yeah, I don't think you'll find anyone or picture or video anything of me like having any kind of like shitty or looking like, even if I'm in the most pain. Like even my last race, 100K out of Vipa, I fucking sucked. Though. Just my feet are fucked in all these rocks. And even at that point, I was like, I ate shit. Actually, one of our volunteers that was on at a 2.0, she saw me in Arizona how I was in front of her, and it was down this little small ravine to get to the river, and I just fucking ate straight into the bushes, dude. And I got up, I fucked up, and it hurt, and I even like that just laugh about it. But I always understood, and or at least I learned, and I tried to share with people what you already doing and what your experience that you don't know, like the kind of influence you can make on someone. It could be positive or negative. You could, be a total dick, and now it's just gonna reaffirm this person that this sucks, and then this why we're even here. But when you hear other people, it definitely pumps you up. So I'm always that's what I do like the format with the loops, and they're not little loops, 20-mile loops. That's a freaking marathon, man. But
Yeah.
but you're still gonna be around the same people for a while. So was there anything during lap two that made you consider or think like? I don't know if I can go for a third lap, or were you kind of like not even thinking ahead of time, or what was it?
Yeah, I made decent time on the first lap and then the second one though I slowed down a
Yeah.
lot. Like I think I come in 3 or 4 hours slower than the first lap, and that's when I started worrying a little bit, you know, about trying to finish. But I did make it into transition in time where I thought, okay, I still got a chance here. Things are still good. But yeah, towards the end of the second lap, it was like 3 in the morning,
Shit.
and I knew I had to go back out again. It was starting to rain, and I was like, okay, if I can just make a transition, I've got a coat there waiting for me. I've got a poncho. I've got fresh supplies. I'm gonna grab my headphones. That was my plan, and so I'm grabbing my coat, an extra pullover, and some supplies, and headed out at 3 in the morning. It was raining, and I thought, geez, man, this is nuts. I mean, but but I wanted to quit. Yes, I wanted to quit. I knew I wasn't going to, but I sure wanted to. I mean,
What can you share about what kept you from giving up?
oh yeah, I just set some goals for myself. I was just like, I'm gonna stay out here until I either cross the finish line or they pull me from the course. That's that was the mindset I had, no matter how bad it got. And it got bad. It got really bad, especially on the third lap. Heading into 1.0, started raining. I got up to the top 1.0. The fog started setting in. Uh, it started raining hard. The wind picked up, and at one point, it was a pure downpour.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
a total
I was
finish.
at what was the message? I don't know. We were checking on the reception, make sure it wasn't that. Um, yeah, at that point. So I'm trying to think of where you were. It's getting fucking cold, huh? We're gonna get through this, and we probably have to do a follow because I don't know this.
Yeah, it
This
started.
sounded like a great idea, but it's getting fucking cold. So, but with that said, I mean, think about it. Like shit, like right now it's cold, but it's not raining, right? And you don't have two laps behind you already. So I know that some of you know Victoria, my girlfriend. She did the 100K herself, and she's really not the biggest fan of rain or anything like that. I mean, who kind of likes the cold, right? Who the fuck likes cold? I mean, right now before we had dinner, I took a cold plunge, but I mean, yeah, for the most part, it's just discomforting. But especially when you're out there sweating, you're tired, you're burning calories, and you've been out there for, the idea of by lap three, you already climbed 8 summits and all of them are freaking hard. Downhills, everything. So at that point, I was at needed to resupply gas for the generator at Bernasconi, and I'm pretty worn down myself, man. Like if I go back from Wednesday, 1 hour sleep, 2 hours maybe. Then it was Thursday, I got 5 hours. Then Friday at the day of the race, 2 hours of sleep. So I'm very sleep deprived. Emotions are all over the place because it's like a little bit of like nervous, excitement, worry. Because the thing with me is like I got to know you a bit before the race. A lot of them are my friends. My girlfriend is out there. Like it's definitely not, and it's not just a race or a business for me. It's definitely there's people that I care for,
Yeah,
and this shit is hard. And it's like I don't care how you look at it. I mean, just look around. It's just fucking dark, and it's very like it's a very technical terrain. So at that time, I went to Bernasconi and I just stayed there, and I couldn't really sleep. I was just sitting there at that point. All stations, Chris was handling business. We were pretty sad, and now we kind of know who's still out there. And I'm just thinking that, like, damn, like I will see the headlamps at the different peaks, and I was just like, fuck, like how they're doing. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And but how was it for you at that point on your third lap at nighttime with the rain? Was there anybody with you, or were you by yourself?
I
Because
was
you didn't
by
have a
my,
pacer.
I was by myself, and I
Shit.
I knew it, and I thought, and then it started pouring. When I was coming down 1.0, but then all of a sudden a headlamp shows up behind me. What
Mhm.
the heck? And it was this guy coming down, but he was coming down pretty fast. I thought, oh, there's no one behind me. I'm on the third lap. There should be no one behind
Right,
me. I'm
right.
one of the slowest. And I guess he went and slept in his car for a minute and fell asleep for a while. He's one of the faster racers too, and so it was a welcome sight to actually see someone out there, because I thought, man, this is just gonna suck going down this. But at one point, I found that little cave up there coming down 1.0. I
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
about just ducking in the cave for a while, but thought, no, I just got to keep going. And I was luckily I had my poncho and or my rain protection and my coat and stuff like that. So um, I I'd been wanting to learn more about navigating in the dark,
Mm,
and so that it's an opportunity.
you definitely got some practice on
Get some
that now.
practice at it. Yeah.
Um, and Damn, yeah, because you hit like all the peaks pretty much at nighttime, except probably the last one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, shit. Um, what was your feeling like when at what point you realized like yeah like I'm gonna finish this shit like I'm gonna earn the buckle like at what point were you pretty sure like okay well like there's nothing like that cramping there's nothing that's gonna keep me from getting to the finish like, at one point did that happen and what was kind of like your feeling?
I got down. I finally got down to the bottom of 3.0 and thought I only got one peak to go, and I'd been counting down the peaks. I thought that's 11 down, one more to
Hell
go.
yeah.
I can do this.
Right.
I can do this, and I thought, okay, I just survived 3.0, probably the toughest climb, the toughest descent when I was at my weakest. I was just so dog tired, but then once I hit that trail, I was like, okay, my feet are killing me at this point. I
Right.
wasn't comfortable at all, but I was like, I can do this. I'm gonna make it.
Nice. So one thing I will share is that at that point we know you're the last one. Steve, our medical director, we keep a check on everyone. Actually, he was talking to you. I was there when he was,
Yep.
and we communicating. We know how everybody's doing, so we know you're gonna finish. We tell the people that we're still around and stuff like, hey, make sure when Ray comes around, let's freaking let's welcome him back. And one thing I can tell you because I've seen this on many races and they all have their reasons or whatnot. As soon as whatever time they have in there, they start turning out shit, they start moving that. And one thing for sure, we made it a point is like everything stay untouched no matter what. And we even had I haven't even posted some stuff, but we had a little tradition because at that point he is the DFL, right? That fucking last, which I always say that's the ultimate never giving up
Yeah.
type of motherfucker because he's not gonna give up. I know a lot of other people, whether it's injury. I know I had two people that overslept, and that sucks. But when you're turning passing the bathrooms and you have the little last sign that says never basically never you don't stop when you're tired,
Don't, yeah. Stop
right?
when you're done.
Stop when you're done. I
Yeah.
put the sign because I knew each lap they will see that
Yeah.
before maybe they thought like I'm gonna drop at this point, and maybe it made a difference or not. But when you turn the corner and you just now you're touching the grass and you're like the fucking pain, everything is over. What kind of emotions? What were you feeling or thinking?
Yeah. I mean, I was looking forward to that moment for like the last 7 hours. I thought, okay, man, it's gonna be like a dream come true. I get to that point where I'm rounding the grass. I'm like, holy shit, I'm at the finish line. But um, I got in a call and said, hey, are you okay? I still had like 1.7 miles to go, and I think it was Chris as well. Are you still pushing it? Are you pushing it?
Mm,
And I thought, shit, man, I got to push it. So
yeah.
that's when I started running again, and I ran the last 1.7 miles um, down the mountain, and I just didn't stop. I just kept running at that point, didn't stop, and I thought I'll get to the finish line quicker if I just keep running and don't stop. So that's what I did.
And you got it done.
But no, it's an excellent feeling. I mean, especially you stay out there for that long, you just keep grinding, keep grinding, keep grinding, and eventually there will come an end to it.
Right.
You just you're not going to be out there forever. You may feel
Yeah.
like it for a while,
Everything's
but
everything's temporary,
yeah,
definitely.
everything's temporary.
Yeah, and myself, I'm pretty vested in, like I said, into everyone in the race. I get to know some people more than others. I'm already known for a long time, so I definitely, it's very hard to separate, like even know emotions for myself. I want everyone to finish. You know what I mean? It doesn't, there's no satisfaction. There's nothing cool. That race is not. This race is not created or it's not hard like this for like because we just want to say that it's the toughest or whatever or a bunch of DNFs. I want more people to finish, but what is it gonna take to finish? You definitely have to put in the work. You don't have to be the fastest or the runner or anything, but you have to have the endurance. Like, and that's what it's called endurance, right? Because you have to endure a lot of fucking pain. You got to endure a lot of weather, adversity, any kind of issue. So what I hope for is that somebody signs up for this race and they're like, you know what, like damn, like I know what it's gonna be. So I better put in the work because I don't want to, it's for your own safety. You don't want to, get injured, get hurt, whatever. But and that's gonna make a difference if you actually train for this. Um, so yeah, we're fucking freezing. I think we're gonna cut this pretty soon. I want to get from Steve one more thing is that well now after that he has a couple things coming up. Like we shared something earlier about doing things that when you sign up for it. I actually have a visual for my events that it says like if it scares you, it means you must do it. So we share the fact that we for me not as lately no more, but over the years was like signing up for things that there's a chance that I can't make it, that I'm not gonna finish it because that's gonna push you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So he is coming back. He hasn't left. He's actually back here on the top. So how fucking naughty that is. Like after doing all of that and climbing this shit 12 peaks, he got another one, 13. We came out here just to do this video because I thought it would be very appropriate to get up here.
Yeah.
But so
Final
he is,
mile, yeah.
yeah, he's coming back to do our 100 miler, which is like he already knows, like, he already did 3 laps. Now he's got to do 2 more laps. But he also has a 200 miler on the books. You signed up for which race did you find out?
The Bigfoot 200 come up in August.
So,
I'll be out on the course when I turn 50. Yeah, that was
so a
goal.
little birthday present, 200 miler. After that, recover and comes back, and you'll see him again out here for Dia de los Muertos. And yeah, for myself, I would say that the most awesome, gratifying thing about Machete Trail Madness is the participants, racers who become my friends, and then eventually it's friends that become my family. Because
Yeah.
that's the way it has literally. If you saw me and you saw me with Chris, or anybody else, like you see that there's definitely, which is not just, there's more to it than that. But one thing I wanted to ask you, you were saying something about like the Monday blues from the race. Can you elaborate just a little? And once you're done with that, we get the fuck out of here
Yeah.
because we're fucking
Yeah.
freezing, bro.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it seems to happen more in
Mhm.
kind of the longer distance races,
Right.
especially for me, where it's like adrenaline's starting to wear off.
Mhm.
The just kind of the you're on this whole roller coaster,
Mhm.
and then you're trying to adjust back to like daily life. You got work and you got things you're thinking about,
Back to reality.
and yeah, the reality and uh, I mean, it can be a little tough. I think it's definitely helpful to be around some other racers that know that know about that and that know that hey, there's just going to be some roller coaster uh, things about it. Definitely. I mean, um, I don't think you can go through something that like challenging and traumatic and without kind of experiencing all the emotions of it. Sometimes those emotions don't come until a couple days afterwards, where it's like you just been in warrior mode that whole time, and then you kind of allow yourself to let your defenses just a little bit. And um yeah, so just I mean, definitely.
And you said that walking up here today actually helped with that, right?
Yeah, so that's what I found overall is I've used this as a tool in the past when I'm feeling down or whatever. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go for my walk, and every time I go for my walk, I start feeling better again
Hmm.
because I know that that's the trail that got me here,
Right.
and I get back on that trail, that training trail, that grind, and you know, it starts to bring me peace again. Just kind of the training of it. So
It's good to share because for a long time I didn't know what that was either, and for me it's gotten much better because yeah, it's definitely and I'm in a different place now. For a while, like especially I shared with you about doing a ton of Spartan race and people, looking up to you in some ways for the change that you have done, the things that you help others get motivated and whatnot. That when you're at these races and the more people know you, even like you experience a little bit of that now, being in the race, a lot of people know, more people know who you are, especially in my community. So when that happens, there's definitely a thing of like feeling that kind of like the love that it pumps you up and it makes you work harder. But the high that you get from these events and just being in the freaking nature and thinking to yourself like, damn, like I would have never thought I'd be doing some shit like this. Like I just did 100K, 60 plus miles with a shitload of climbing. Actually, it's 13,000 climbing,
yeah,
and I just did that. So it's like a high, but then now we got back home and now your fucking body feels it and everything hurts and the adrenaline is gone. And I experienced that and I struggle with that for some times. I think I will get like a mini depression, man.
yeah,
And then, but I think after a while start putting into perspective that, like, for what it was. And then the thing that you can do is just appreciate like the other aspects of your life. Like you can't also go too obsessed on doing one thing. You have to balance that out,
yeah.
which include, like, I mean, I thought about like coming out here and just hanging out and it'd be cool. It just got fucking cold as hell now, so it didn't turn out as fucking. But it's still beautiful. Like you guys won't be able to see through the video, but like damn, like the sunset we had,
Oh, it was
it is
amazing.
it's hella windy, but like it's almost a full moon, And just overall, I think before I log out, I'll turn the phone around and see kind of what it can capture. But there's no way you can see what we're seeing, and that's still definitely a blessing to just like anybody that is on these roads or houses. Nobody could imagine that there's two people up there just in the middle of this fucking thing in two chairs with this fucking Llorona. That's really weird. Anyways, but with that said, we have Ray on we tag him on our social media, follow him. There's definitely a lot more to like the story that we all have, and just follow his journey and the things that he's doing, and maybe you'll find inspiration. Maybe you find yourself in similar part of your life where you reach like he said, where you just kind of like, I need to take control of my life and start living again, and many people like Ray and others like they definitely can our motivation for that. So with that said, we're gonna get up here. Yeah, I can. I'm fucking stiff as hell. That beer that didn't help either. It's fucking cold.
I actually started looking forward to the hike down.
Yes,
Get warmed up a little bit. Start moving
yes.
again.
So I'll see what I can capture around, and then we'll log. Oh shit, did not log off. But I want to thank Steve. So you can see his buckle.
Yep.
Definitely earned it. But yeah, fucking let's get the hell out of here, man. Oh man. Let's see.
Hey, let's go climb another couple of peaks.
Let's go do the rest of the interview on the other one. All right. So look at these guys. Oh fuck. Yeah, definitely a beautiful night, man. Oh man, this is definitely one unique interview. Another Molcajete
Definitely unique.
Molcajete Chronicles. Fuck. You can see, look at that fucking wind. All right, guys. Oh, yeah, it's fucking nice though. So let's see, let's
Let's
see,
go,
let's see.
baby. Let's go.
Let's see. So say hi. Yes, some people watching us. Okay, so we're gonna close.